We believe the future is something you don't have to pull out of your pocket, but something that snaps on to your clothing. Ugh. Why would I want that? Because it's so much more convenient. You just reach out your hand. I already reach out my hand. I just put a phone there. Yes, but with this one, you can talk to it. You just put your finger right here and ask it any question you want. My phone can do that. Yes, but this is far less intrusive than your phone. Ow. Okay, it's hot. I don't understand why anybody would want to buy that thing. Well, it is only $700. Fully subsidized $700 for that little brick? No. The entire company. You can buy the entire brand and all of its intellectual property for about $700. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, what kind of proprietary stuff do you guys have? A little projector. Do you want that? Okay. That sounds good. Well, that sure didn't take too long. According to Bloomberg, who usually has somewhat reputable sources, Humane is already looking for a potential buyout. And I think this is really no surprise because I'm getting like essential phone vibes all over again, except this is somehow much, much worse. The reviewers absolutely slammed and destroyed the Humane AI pin. It's kind of the epitome of all of this AI hype, is like trying to turn something that's really not that impressive into the next big thing just by saying that AI will fix all of its shortcomings and software updates will solve all of its problems. But it immediately got dogpiled on by the Rabbit R1 because it was a far cheaper device that had far more functionality and was arguably much easier to use, had faster response times. But even that got dogpiled by all of the big tech announcements and AI showcasing how, yes, just like we all expected, our phones can do pretty much everything these devices are capable of doing, leaving the AI pin is kind of the bottom of the barrel as far as next generation gimmick territory, which I think is ultimately just a side effect of the fact that smartphones are all kind of blurring together. Startup companies probably just feel like there's no way we can possibly make a phone that separates itself enough from the competition. I mean, you already got the big players like Apple and Google and Samsung, and then you've got the littler guys that try to be a little bit more quirky like nothing, but is there really that much room for any more quirky little startup brands? Probably not, so your best route is essentially trying to reinvent the smartphone, trying to replace it, which in my opinion is just a fundamentally flawed concept that's never going to work out because inherently, both for better or for worse, the smartphone is here to stay. It's an incredibly addictive device, and you can try to brag about the fact that it's addictive and your device is less so, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to pay off, especially if it's a product that was not that thought through and not that functional or useful in the first place. Like, honestly, I think something like the Light phone has a much better chance of trying to be like a less distracted, more basic, bare bones technology product, because even though it doesn't have a lot of features, it kind of knows what it is and knows what it's good at, whereas it felt like the Humane AI pin wasn't even sure what it was good at, and it was a very hard pitch for pretty much every single reviewer to acknowledge, like, yeah, okay, it's not great at pretty much everything, but, updates maybe will make it better, and if you don't use it a lot, it's great, which is a very hard sell to the everyday person who already feels overwhelmed with memberships and is definitely not getting rid of their smartphone. So to just try to justify another device and people need to carry around along with their smartwatches, their AirPods, their tablets, their laptops, and their smartphones to be like, well, here's something that you should wear and also use with a separate phone number and a separate billing subscription and all that. That's just not a good argument in today's market, and likely at this point Humane is shopping around the company and saying, do we have something of value here? Do people want our AI? Probably not. Do people want our hardware division because we made a really pretty charging stand? Do people want our projector technology? And I'm making a guess here, but I'm gonna guess no. I know they're probably trying to find someone that's interested in their IP right now, but I personally don't think there's anything that valuable. There was already a trend in the early days to try to miniaturize projectors onto smartphones so that you could project movies and stuff onto walls, but it was gimmicky, it didn't work all that well, and it tanked your battery life. So I don't think even a smartphone maker is really going to pick up this technology, and I think they're going to float around a few ideas. I wouldn't be shocked if they do a massive price cut. They likely grossly overordered the number of these things, similar to early essential phone days where they started at a certain price, they cut it way down lower. They'll probably decide somewhere along the lines that there's no more membership and they'll just front the fee for that, and that will slowly bankrupt them depending on how much cash they have on hand. I'm guessing not much, and it probably won't help help that a lot of investors are going to want out as quickly as possible, because as quickly as it rose in popularity, and for a second there that was all the media wanted to talk about, it's quickly going to die off, especially now that Apple is about to take the stage with all of their AI features, which I don't really think are going to change the world, but I do think it's the more proper location for the latest and greatest in AI technology. Apple's got native neural cores that can do a lot of on-device processing. They've got far superior displays and cameras, and the best part, all of their hardware is already in billions of pockets out there. So relatively, with the flip of a switch, they can add far more functionality and utility thanks to generative AI features to our devices than expecting someone to go out and spend $700 or even $500 or even $200 on a little box that claims, oh, only I can do these AI features. Like, if people are really nervous about the amount of screen time they have or the amount of notifications they're getting, we have focus modes for that. It's like all these startup companies forgot about the fact that, oh yeah, you can just turn off a lot of those notifications if you want to, but maybe they're thinking, oh, well, it's hard to go into Control Center and activate a personal focus mode or a do not disturb focus mode. Yeah, if it was really that hard, then people are definitely not going to go out of their way to buy a whole second device just so they can use their phone less. It's kind of like how I agree that there's a huge public addiction to fructose and sugar. That doesn't mean if you come up with a startup company that just sells lettuce and say that, well, lettuce is healthier than sugar, therefore our business will survive. No, people aren't going to buy your lettuce just because there's a huge sugar addiction problem. And also, your lettuce was not that well made anyway. It was fairly expensive. There's far cheaper lettuce elsewhere that doesn't heat up my chest as much, and there's way better battery life on the other guy's lettuce. Okay, I'll stop there. But what do you guys think? Is there any technology or IP that you think Humane AI offers that some other company would be interested in acquiring? I'm struggling to figure out who, and I'm personally shocked that the company got this far into production. I'm shocked that there wasn't some earlier stage where investors realized, you know what, this is not a very good idea. People are just going to keep using phones. But all those thoughts, let me know what you're thinking down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. This is your Alp Sheep here, and I will see you all in the next one.